Hi friends, I'm going to read another story for you today, and it's connected to the other story that we read that you heard me read on Monday. It was connected to the story Someone Bigger. So in this story called One of Three, one of these children feels like she's never old enough or big enough. Do you hear the connection? So when you listen to the story, look for the story connection to the other story that we read on Monday. This one's called One of Three, and it's written by Angela Johnson, and the pictures are by David Soman, and he drew all of these pictures in the story. So I hope you enjoy the story. All right, here we go. This is a big book. Hold on. Since I can remember, I've been one of three: Eva, Nikki, and me. One of three sisters that walk to school together, down the street together, one of the three in the sun and the rain. See all three of them? 1, 2, 3. I'm one of the three that lives in apartment 2, has long hair and brown eyes, and can sometimes play hopscotch by the trash cans if I ask for a really long time. She has to ask her sisters to play. On Saturdays, I'm one of the three that sits outside the bakery and looks and smells. Look at that, it smells delicious. I'm one of the three that squeezes into the taxi on a snowy day with Mama, Aunt, Sarah, and Grandma, and it's warm in there. Look at, they got 6 people in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people into the back of a cab, taxi cab. I'm one of the three that looks just like our mama, smiles just like our daddy, and holds hands with my sisters in the store, looking like triplets. Almost. Why do you think they look like triplets? Maybe because they're all sisters? That's a really good answer. I'm one of the three that likes the subway, the people on it, and the way our feet hang over the seats. Do you see their feet? Their legs are just too short a little bit, so they can't quite reach the ground. We walk down the street with like stair steps, and I'm in front. Do you see why they look like stair steps? Doot, doot, doot. They're one's shorter than the other one. Sometimes Eva and Nikki say I'm not invited to go with them, not to the park, the store, or sometimes even for a walk. See, they're telling her no. Can you see that? They're shaking their fingers saying no. Do you see the sister? Have you ever been told by your sibling? Doesn't always feel very good. And then it says, then I'm left behind. Not one of three, just one. She feels pretty sad, doesn't she? She's got her little doll, though. Then Mama calls me sister and says, I'm too little to go there or do that. So maybe I just want to help her paint or maybe read to her. Daddy says that I have to be the baby sometimes and keep Mama and him company. Just sometimes. I miss Eva and Nikki and me, but when it's just Mama, Daddy, and me, it's a different kind of three. And that's fine too. And here her sisters came home. to find her baby, the baby sister sleeping. She's still pretty little, isn't she? Well, I hope you like that story. All right, friends, we're going to do a little something new with retelling today. And I want to talk to you about two things. One of them is called the setting. Can you see this word right here? That word is setting. And this word is characters. Now, you might have heard Mrs. Morgan, Miss J, or Mrs. Roars talk about the setting and the characters. But I want to go over it again today so you don't forget, because it's been a little while since we've talked about that. But you have to know what setting and characters are for first grade. So I want to go over it today. Now, the setting is the word we use when we talk about where a story happened, okay? And a lot of times you can look back in the story to find the answer. Sometimes you can tell by looking at the pictures where the story took place. And sometimes the setting can start in one place and go to another place and another place. So sometimes the setting changes. But when we talk about the story, we mostly talk about where the story mostly happens, okay? Where does the story mostly take place? And in this story, I bet if you look here, you can tell that the story mostly takes place at their house, at their apartment. And see, this one's inside their house. This one's right out in front or like right by their neighbor. And again, they're inside their house and they're still inside their house. So I would say the setting of this story, one of three, is at this little girl's house. Okay, that's the setting, okay? And characters refers to who is the story mostly about. And in this story, did you guess? It's mostly about these three girls right here. But they also have a mom and a dad. The mom and dad are in the story as well. So it could be just about this whole family. So the characters are mostly these three little girls, but the story is mostly about this little girl right here because she's the youngest. And the story talks about how she doesn't get to do all the things that her older siblings get to do. So that is what we call the characters of the story, okay? So maybe this week when you're reading stories with mom and dad, you can talk about the setting, where did the story take place, and the characters, and tell mom and dad who is the story mostly about, okay? And then when you're done with that, when you're done with those two things, you can retell the story to your family, okay? So let's take a look at the story again. So this little girl starts out the story by telling that she is one of three. She has an older sister, a middle sister, and she is the baby, right? And they do all kinds of things together almost all the time. They play hopscotch, they jump rope, they go to the bakery. Remember all those things? And here they are, they're picking flowers from the flower stand. And remember they talked about how they look like stair steps because they go boom, boom, boom with their height. And then they play together most of the time, but sometimes the older girls get to go places that she's too little for. And remember that made her really sad. But her mom and dad said, it's okay. Sometimes you have to stay little and be the little one at home with them. And look here. They're reading with her and making her, and if you can see, she's smiling again. So that is a great story about sometimes it's okay to be just the littlest one, but you'll grow up someday, won't you? All right, friends, that's all I have for the story today. I hope you enjoyed it.